Hey everyone, Josh, Wargaming Noob Historical, back with another read-through review. This time around we're going to do Bolt Action Campaign Italy, Soft Underbelly, one of the newest campaign books for Bolt Action. Obviously this is going to focus on Operation Husky and pretty much the Invasion of Italy campaign. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. So in the table of contents, you're going to start off the book. Let me zoom this in real quick. With information on how to use this campaign book, as well as some background information on the history behind the campaign book. The majority of this book is going to be taken up by the operations, the scenarios that you will be playing out on your Bolt Action table. So we start off with Operation Husky, which will cover scenarios 1 through 4. The Race to Messina, which will cover scenario 5. Then the Invasion of Italy, which will cover scenarios 6 through 9. Then you'll finish off the operation in this book with the Winter Line, which covers scenario 10 through 13. The next part of the book are going to be the new units that are introduced in this particular campaign book for the Italians, Germans, British and Commonwealth, and US. And then following that, you'll have information on heroes of the Sicilian and Italian campaigns on all sides of the war. And then you'll finish off with your selectors. This will be what you will be using to create your forces for use in this campaign book. And then obviously you're going to have an appendix and all that fun stuff. Alright, so on the next page here, you do have the information on the campaigns that are detailed in this book. And then you will basically be getting some information and all that stuff, the background. Now we move into the first section of the scenarios, this Operation Husky. You'll have your map and some detailed information on it, as well as the scenarios. So the scenarios will have your background, your objective, setup, any special rules and forces that you can use, as well as how to set up your table for this particular scenario. And this will be similar to all the other scenarios in the book. You'll have your deployment information, game duration, how many turns you're going to be playing, and then the victory conditions, as well as some more fluff that concerns this particular campaign or scenario. Next up, Seaborne Landings. This is the next scenario. It's Breach Reconnaissance. More information on that. And again, you have your scenario with some information, objective, setup, special rules, forces, and all that fun stuff. And then you'll also have your map to how to set up your table. And then all the specific information to play the game. Then you'll have some more fluff on some more history behind the scenarios. And you'll go through your scenario 3, Streets of Gala. All of this is all the same as any of the previous scenarios in the book, as well as the maps and all that fun stuff. So I'm just going to flip through these scenarios. The next scenario, scenario 4, is Primasole Bridge. And then that'll complete the first portion of the campaign book. So scenarios 1 through 4 will cover it, and then you get one scenario for the Race to Messina. Some information, and then of course the specific scenario here. Scenario 5, Escape from Troina. After that, you'll have the Invasion of Sicily, gives you more information, and then you start with scenario 6. Again, there's the map, all your requirements, all that great stuff. So, to be honest, everything else is going to be similar in how it's set up. All the scenarios will have all the specific rules that you'll need, as well as the map on how to set up your table, and then some information. So, I'm just going to blast through the scenarios here. So, scenario 9, Standoff at the Calore. Your map and all that stuff. And obviously the layout of the book makes it very easy for you to read the information quickly and efficiently. So this is the last portion of the campaigns. The Winter Line, Scenario 10, Termoli. I can get through this. Scenario 11, Mazza Grogna. And then Scenario 12, Monte la Defensa. And then lastly, the final scenario, Ortona. All right, so now we get to the point where they introduce the new units. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So obviously this book came out with the release of the new Italian plastic kits. So a lot of the stuff that you build out of those kits, all the information for those units will be in this campaign book. So you can start off with the infantry squads and teams. So Divisione Costiera section, right there. So it tells you basically your cost, composition, weapons, all the different options and special rules. Put that right there. And then the next new unit is the Motociclisti infantry section. So again, cost, your composition, your options, weapons, and all of the special rules. All right. So next up is the Guastatori Destruction Group, the Engineer Demolishers. Again, there are your point totals. You can take regular and veteran for these. Your composition is NCO and 5 men, carbines, Bangalore torpedoes, and all the options and special rules. All right, next up is the Guastatori Support Group. Again, there's the requirements for taking this infantry unit. Bring that there. And then you have the Ex Regimento Arditi. So this has an officer here. You can basically take either second lieutenant, first lieutenant, captain, major, and then your composition. This is not much different than any other officer type unit in bolt action. And then you have special rules here. Tough fighters, behind enemy lines, bold leadership, and Forza Danimo. All right. Then you have your rules for your Arditi section. And these guys are veterans. You have 1 NCO and 4 men. Your different options and special rules. And then next up is the Arditi Saboteur section. And then you have your Sahariana Spa Viberti AS-42. You can bring that information up just like that. Okay. And then your Carabinieri section. There's the rules right there. You can take inexperienced, regular, and veteran. Again, composition is NCO and 4 men, but options will allow you to add more. And then your special rules. Moving on to the new German units. So let me zoom back in here. You're going to start off with the Heer Grenadier Squad, Italy, 1943. Inexperienced and regular. Your composition, weapons, and special rules, as well as options. Next up is your Panzer Grenadier Squad for Sicily and Salerno. All right. Then you have your Panzer Grenadier Squad, Italy, late 1943. Your composition and all that fun stuff. Another new unit is the Festung Squad. So, inexperienced and regular, NCO and 4 men, all that fun stuff. You can also make these guys shirkers for -3 points per man. It just lowers the cost. But obviously the shirkers special rule will probably make it more difficult to keep these guys on the board. Okay. Next up is the Feldersatz Squad. This is a training squad. Got the special rule of green. And another unit is the Hermann Goering's Division Panzer Grenadier Squad, Sicily, the July 10th to 12th. All right. And then the Hermann Goering Division Panzer Grenadier Squad, Sicily and Salerno. There's the information there. Alright, next up is artillery. You have your 88mm Rochtenwerfer 44 Pupchen. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a rocket launcher. Alright. And then finally we get to the vehicle section. Just Stugs, M41, and the M42. Your special rules and options and all that fun stuff. And then the Stug M43 105-25. Bigger gun on this one. Alright, we move on to some Fallschirmjäger in Italy, 1943, your Fallschirmjäger officer. And then your Fallschirmjäger squad for Sicily and Salerno. And then your Fallschirmjäger squad, Italy, 1943. Lastly, you have your Fallschirmjäger squad for Ortona. There's the information there. And then to round out the Fallschirmjäger, you have your Fallschirmjäger Rear Echelon Squad. Okay, next up is the Fallschirm Pioneer. This is the squad for Sicily and Salerno. And then to finish off the German section, you have the Fallschirm Pioneer Squad 1943, Italy. And then the Fallschirm Pioneer Squad, Ortona. Alright, next section is the new British and Commonwealth units. So let's take a look at that. We'll zoom back in. Your Highland Officer. There's the information. And then next up is your Royal Engineers section. All right. Next is your Recce Corps Assault Troops section for mid-war. Bring this back up a little bit. Okay. And then your Irish Infantry section. All right. Next up is the Guards section. So in this you have your Guards Infantry section, early war. And then your mid to late war. Next is the Indian Infantry section, Italy, 1943. We'll take a look at that unit right there. And then your Canadian Infantry section, MTO. And then your Royal Canadian Engineer section, MTO. This one has a lot of different options. I'm going to zoom out or just adjust my camera a little bit so you guys can see how many special rules and options they have. It's quite a lot. And I'm assuming that the Engineer section can be built from the newer British and Canadian box kit. At least I believe that's the case. If you guys know or don't know, comment below. If you guys do know if that's true, go ahead and comment below. Alright, so for vehicles, you have the Universal Carrier Late War. Does have a lot of options. Alright, moving on to Commonwealth Special Forces. Here we have the 1st Airborne Division Paratroop Section for Sicily and Italy. And then your 1st Para Squadron Royal Engineer Team. All right. And next up is your Airborne Captured MG42. That's kind of neat. You'll be able to use the captured MG42, but as Commonwealth or British. All right. We have a Special Raiding Squadron subsection. Their information is right here. A lot of special rules for them. And then you have Popsky's Private Army. So this was created by Russian immigrant Vladimir Penyakov, Number 1 Demolition Squadron, or also known as Popsky's Private Army. Got some special rules right there. Does not have a national characteristic. All right. There's the section for the officer. And then the team. And then a Jeep. And lastly, they do get a flamethrower Jeep, so that's pretty interesting. All right, next up, Royal Marine Commandos and I guess regular commandos. Special rules are below. Masters of Concealment. Aknakari Training. I'm not sure what that is. All right, here's your commando subsection MTO 1943. I do believe that this coincides with the new British Commandos and Inter-Allied Commando kit. So, good release. Get some rules for it. This is your COP Commando team. And here is the rules. All right. And now we're going to go to the new U.S. units. Let me zoom back in here. So, infantry squads and teams, you start off with the infantry, you start off with the Armored Rifle Squad. All right. Next up is the Armored LMG Squad. And now the Rear Echelon Squad. Next up is the vehicles. We'll start off with Armored Cars, Reconnaissance Jeep. So this is just your standard Jeep, but the special rule will be Recce. Okay, next up is the 1st Special Service Force, aka the Devil's Brigade. Special rules: Freddy's Freighters and Master of Concealment. All right. Here's the section. You have quite a few special rules as well. Different options. Next up is the FSSF Scout Team. Then you have another named force, Darby's Rangers, aka the Black Death or X-Force. It's a Ranger Force Squad. All right. Ranger Force M3 T12 GMC. I guess that's the GMC truck. Now you have a section on the 82nd Airborne. It's the Screaming Eagles. That's for the Parachute Rifle Squad. And then next up we have the Parachute Glider and Engineer Squad. And then we come to the Heroes of the Sicilian and Italian campaign. So these are all going to be special characters that you can bring into this particular campaign. Of special note, and I'm going to zoom into here, when I received this particular campaign book, I did get Major General Enrico Francisi as a figure that was included. It was a special edition figure or a limited edition figure. Here's his rules. And then the next character is Sub-Lieutenant Angiolino Navari. And his rules right there. All right, moving on to the German heroes, we have Oberst Bernd von Dering. And then Hauptmann Heinz Meyer. And then Hauptmann Heinz Paul Adolf. at his rules there. And actually, I'm going to have to zoom out for this. Let me see if I can try to adjust my camera here. We're going to have to get up a little bit closer. So here's the first portion of his information. He does have quite a few special rules, so just pause it and take a look. All right, now I'm going to move up to the second portion of his rules. All right, rounding out the German heroes, you have Colonel Wilhelm Schmaltz. And there are his rules. Okay, so moving on to the British heroes, we have Major Robert Paddy Mayne. And then Major John Jock Anderson, VC. Second Lieutenant Edward Clapham. Oops, there we go. And then next up, Major Paul Triquet, VC. His rules are right here. All right. For the U.S. heroes, we start off with Colonel James Jumpin' Jim Gavin. And then Colonel William L. Darbo Darby. And now we come to a big character, Lieutenant General George S. Penn, Jr. He's got quite a few special rules. And then Colonel Robert T. Frederick. All right, so we are at the last portion, or major portion of the book. This is the new theater selectors. So you start off with the Italian army, gives you all the special army rules. So defeat after defeat, followed by impending defeat, defensive strategy, poor officers, and Forza Danimo. Okay. So for Sicily, you have Gruppo Mobili Cari Reinforced Platoon. This is not going to be any different from many of the reinforced platoons, at least in terms of the organization. You're going to have your HQ, your infantry, artillery, tanks, tank destroyers, and all that stuff, and transports and tows. Okay. Next is the Divisione Costieri Reinforced Platoon. In fact, you know what? Let me zoom in here. So this is Gruppo Mobili Cari Reinforced Platoon, which you can take. Headquarters, infantry, artillery, tanks, transports, and tows. Next is the Divisione Costieri Reinforced Platoon. All right. Some special rules for coastal defense, multinational forces, second rate. All right, the next platoon is the Fusilieri Reinforced Platoon. Information right there. And then infantry, artillery, tanks, transports, tows, special rules for multinational forces. And then Gruppo Tactico Reinforced Platoon. All right. Ex Regimento Arditi Reinforced Platoon. That's their information right there. And then moving on to the German Army Kampfgruppe West HGD. Try to get all the info in the screen here. I believe that Easy Army does have all of these on there already, so if you need a closer look, you can take a look on Easy Army. All right, next up is Kampfgruppe Schmalz. Fallschirmjäger Reinforced Platoon, Primosole Bridge. Next is the Panzer Grenadier Reinforced Platoon. In fact, we'll just go through these real quick because I believe a lot of these are already on Easy Army. So next up is the Hermann Goering Division Reinforced Platoon for Sicily and Salerno. Some good artwork right there. And then Kampfgruppe von Dering, 16th Panzer. Kampfgruppe Stempel. Kampfgruppe Jülich. Then for Winterline Panzer Grenadier Reinforced Platoon, 1943 Italy. Fallschirmjäger Reinforced Platoon, 1943 Italy. Grenadier Reinforced Platoon, Italy, 1943. All right. Now the British, you have your national characteristics for Canadian Reinforced Platoons, Indian Reinforced Platoons, Guards Reinforced Platoons, Irish, Scottish, New Zealand, and Special Forces on this side. So, 1st Airborne Reinforced Platoon, Primosole Bridge. Special Raiding Squadron Reinforced Platoon, Sicily. And then the 8th Army Reinforced Platoon, Sicily. Commando RMC Reinforced Platoon, Sicily and Salerno. Then the 201st Guards Reinforced Platoon. I don't think I'll go through the rest of these because the video is getting kind of long. But as you can see, there are quite a few new forces that you can play for this campaign on all sides of the war. So I'm just going to blast through these guys. Get your U.S. Army, obviously. And that is pretty much it. I know this wasn't a very thorough, in-depth review. I just kind of wanted to show an overview of what's in the campaign book. I will be going through the scenarios in future videos, as well as some of the platoons that are included in this. If you've never purchased a campaign book, this is a great way to add flavor and historical context to your bolt action games. And obviously, if you like the Italians or you want to start a new German, Italian, US or British and Commonwealth force, some of these platoons that are included here that are associated with the Italy-Sicily campaign will give you different options on how to build your bolt action force. So anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and click like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I appreciate it if you would. Click the bell notification icon to get notified of all new read-through reviews coming out of the channel, and then click the link in the description below to join our Discord server. That is the best way I can personally interact with you and chit-chat you about bolt action and any other game that we cover on the channel. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more read-through review from Wargaming Noob Historical.